Two kids home alone, burglary in progress. What would you do?
The Nashville sisters, ages 16 and 13, were alone when they saw two men trying to break in through the back door shortly after 9 a.m. The older sister stayed on the phone with the dispatcher and whispered what she heard as Midtown Hills precinct officers rushed to the scene.
All right, I'm going to pause this because we're going to break this down and we're going to set this up. So I'm talking to all of my 911 first responders right now. Here is the age-old training question, and this is also for my CTOs. We get a call, two teenagers, 9 a.m., someone's breaking in. Is that going to be a straight up burglary in progress? Is that going to be trespass? Is that going to be loitering? It's 9 a.m. Often when we teach this, that time is a differentiating factor, right? So we got to find out a little more questions, whether this is a burglary or a trespassing. Time of day makes a big difference for that call type code, and priority. I want to hear what you have to say about that. I'm talking right now to my dispatchers. Drop that in the chat. If you're a CTO, tell me how you train on this difference. Okay? Let's keep listening.
There's two men outside my house. I think they're trying to break in. Me and my sister are home alone.
Okay, stay on the line with me. I'm getting help started to you, okay?
Okay.
Can you see what they look like?
They were knocking on the door. One has long hair, kind of, and I'm not sure about the other one.
Okay, were they white, black, or Hispanic?
I think they're white. Yeah.
Okay, and where are you?
We're in my parents' bathroom.
Was there a question that you would have asked in between there? Two men knocking on the door, and we go into descriptions. I'm not arguing with that's the wrong line of questioning. Not at all. We need to know what they look like. But they were knocking on the door. How did we get to they're knocking on the door to I think they're trying to break in? What makes you think that they're trying to break in? I don't know. Is that a good question? Would that have been your next question? I'm just curious because I could be wrong here. I'm not criticizing. And on this channel, what we do is we break down things to make it a learning lesson. It's never to criticize our peers at all. So let's continue to watch.
Where are you inside the house?
We're in the very back in my parents' bedroom bathroom. Please hurry.
Okay, I'm getting them started, okay? Okay, what door are they at?
The very back. It's a smaller house.
I know you want to hear the story, but this is what I have to tell you. If you're a citizen and you're calling 911 and you hear a dispatcher say, okay, I'm getting them started, and you're thinking, what does that mean? I want to kind of set the context for you, is that depending on the agency, the dispatcher may be working by themselves, or they may be working with one, two, or several more, or dozens of other dispatchers. There's a computer-aided dispatch, which is called CAD, and they're working on that computer. They're generating a call for service, and it sends that call via computer to the officers or firefighters or paramedics in the field. So when you hear a dispatcher say something like, I'm getting them started, or you talking to me doesn't delay me getting you help, that's what that means. They're in communication with field first responders to get help to you.
Okay, so the two men are at the back door?
Yeah.
Okay. I have the call set up. We do have officers that are en route to you, okay? Is it possible for you to close the door that you're in?
Yes, it's closed.
Okay. Is it a lock on that door?
It doesn't close all the way.
Okay. Okay. How old are you and your sister?
I'm 16 and she's 13. Please hurry.
Okay. I have help on the way, okay? If you can hear anything, let me know, okay? If it sounds like they got in, let me know. I want you to be quiet, okay? If they do get in, don't make any noise, okay? I want you to be quiet. Don't hang up the phone, okay? Just leave the phone where I can hear, okay? And at any point, if it sounds like they made entry into the house, let me know, okay? You can hear a car?
They have a car.
What color is the car?
I'm not sure.
Okay, is the car in your driveway?
They're in the house.
They're in the house? Are they in the house? Okay. I want you to be very quiet, okay? I'm on the line with you. I have help on the way. Okay, I have help on the way. They're on the way. They are coming to you. They're getting closer to the bathroom? Are they getting closer to the bathroom where you are?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm updating the information for our officers, okay? They're on the way to you. Okay, I have an officer that's close by, okay? He's outside. He's coming to you, okay? Just stay where you are, okay? Until I let you know that it's okay to come out. Okay, I want you to stay put, okay? I don't want you to come out yet, okay? Stay put. Okay, stay put. I don't want you to come out, okay? Stay put.
Okay. He tried to lock himself in.
He's trying to lock himself in? Okay, I still want you to be very quiet. Can you tell where in the house he is? Can you tell where inside the house he is? Okay, I just want you to stay put for right now, okay? Don't come out. Don't make any loud noises, okay? Be as quiet as possible. Okay. We have the police that are outside. They're getting one in custody. Okay, but I just need for you to keep as quiet as possible, okay? Can you tell if he's in the living room or in a bedroom?
No, it's your fault.
You can't tell?
No, I can't. Can the police come inside?
Okay. They know that you're still hiding in the bathroom, okay?
Okay.
I just want you to keep as quiet as possible. Do you know which room he went in?
No, I don't know.
Okay. Where is he?
I think I heard hands up for you.
Okay, don't come out yet. Okay. I have officers who are clearing your house, okay? I want you to still remain quiet until they come in there with you, okay? Don't be afraid.
Okay. We're here. Back here. Right here.
Wanted to let that play through a little bit. There are a couple of key things I want to point out. First of all, dispatcher was awesome. Did a great job keeping the young ladies calm, the RP calm. I'm gonna put my tactical dispatcher hat on for a second. And if you've been in class with me for one moment, you already know what I'm going to say. Every dispatcher is a tactical dispatcher, whether you have the cool polo or not. One of the things I would have loved to have known is where in the house was the bedroom. Is it upstairs? Is it downstairs? Is it in the back to the front? Think about A, B, C, D sides or 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, whatever your agency uses. We're talking about perimeters, right? That would have been a great question to ask. The other question is weapons. I don't know if she's armed. That would have been a great question, especially depending on where you are in the country. But even in California, we have a lot of CCWs. We have a lot of homeowners who have weapons. So we think that people will volunteer that to us, but often they don't. That would have been really a great question to ask. The other part that really got the back of the hairs on my neck standing up, and I don't know about you, when she said he locked himself in. That's not something we normally see. Was he locking himself in because he knew the police were outside, or was he locking himself in because he was going to do harm to those girls? Big officer safety thing. I think that's probably why she repeated that. That's information that they're going to want to know. Let's talk about technology here for a second. Text to 911. It's mandatory in all 50 states. I think this would have been a great call, right? Can you text me? Because I want you to be quiet. I don't want him to know that you're in there. Text me so that we can get those updates. Leverage that technology so she could stay quiet, but the officers are still getting appraised. But here's the question I'm throwing out for all my 911 first responders here, because I think this is kind of Sophie's choice. If you already have them on the phone and they don't have access to another device, would you have them disconnect and text to 911? Or would you just keep them on the phone? Put your answer in chat for me, because I really want to know what you think. Maybe you have a policy that prohibits you from doing that, but maybe you don't. Maybe it's something we haven't thought of. Part of the reason why I get excited about breaking these calls down is because it's a training opportunity for us. How are we prepared for a call like this? It's your experience and it's your training, right? And what question we're going to ask next, what sequence of those questions. There's no wrong answer. I just think that some questions might be a little better, a little more appropriate, but there's nothing wrong. This was a great call. Kudos to the dispatcher that handled this call. Kudos, great outcome. 2 people in custody. Girls are okay. That's what we're here for. That's what we want to do. What questions would you have asked? Put them in chat. And if you're not part of the 911 first responder community and you have questions about this call, like why did they do that? Put that in chat too. Would love the opportunity to try to answer, and we get some more dispatchers engaged in that as well that can answer from their jurisdiction. Thank you for taking the time to break this down with me, and we'll look forward to getting to the next one. I kind of wanted to start and just ask sort of where we are with the 911 Saves Act. I know that's a huge initiative, right? And this is your platform.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, it's great to be with you today to talk about the 911 Saves Act, HR 6319. The bill directs the Office of Management and Budget to federally reclassify public safety telecommunicators, 911 dispatchers, as a protective service occupation on the standard occupational classification system. That's just the big bureaucracy that looks at every job and classifies them, under the subgroups that they belong. We know that 911 dispatchers do not belong in the secretarial place where they are currently at right now. We know that they are part of the 911 first responders, and we want the federal government to recognize them and follow the lead of so many of our states that have already done this, including states like California and states like Texas. So we're very proud of the legislation and very proud of the work the 911 dispatchers do. By the way, this is a bipartisan bill. So we want to encourage everyone to reach out to their member of Congress, their U.S. Senator, and ask them to support, co-sponsor the bill, to continue to push and ask for a hearing. There is no opposition for the bill. We have removed all opposition. So we have 130 co-sponsors so far.
That's outstanding.
I know.
That's like incredible work. And you mentioned something that I really wanted to ask is what we can do to support your efforts. So when we reach out to our congressperson, right,
Yes.
in our representatives in our states, is there anything in particular? Do we ask for co-sponsorship?
Yes.
And we ask specifically for a hearing. Those are the two things, the takeaways.
Those are the two things, but make sure that you start, by giving your name, where you live, that you are a constituent. That's really important because members of Congress prioritize the calls that they receive, the letters, the emails that they receive from their constituents. They want to hear directly from the people who are voting, for them. So it's important for you to identify yourself. If you're a 911 dispatcher, tell them that you're a 911 dispatcher. Maybe share a personal story of how, your job has impacted the community that you serve. Talk to the people that answer, this call at your representative's office about a life that you saved, about, a senior or a child that you saved. Those are the things that move members of Congress. And it's your job is so important that we should be proud to talk about the work that you do in every circle. So don't be shy.
I really appreciate that. I also want to kind of dovetail and ask, are there any other initiatives that you think that we can support you with in your platform?
Yeah, continuing to do this. By the way, I forgot to mention that President Biden also recognized 911 dispatchers during Telecommunicators Week. So, we're getting recognition at all levels, and I think that's important to recognize. And how you can support our work is by continuing to talk about the bill, continuing to talk to your friends, your families, members, your neighbors, talk to them about why this is important, not just to you as an individual, as a worker in your community, but to the community that you serve. A dispatcher that is rightfully recognized for the work that they are doing as first responders. It would make my job much easier to be able to help and provide grant opportunities for those 911 centers in your community to be able to hire and train the professionals that we need to answer the phone. Sometimes people complain about calling 911 and the line was busy, as it is with the California Highway Patrol sometimes, because they don't have enough dispatchers working, during the heavy periods of time. So I think it's important for people to know that that is why you need to be able to have access to grants that are readily available for any other law enforcement or public safety employee, but are not available to 911 centers because your classification.
That's fair. That's powerful, but it's also empowering, right? Because you've created a pathway for us to get there. As we know, with the 6,100 911 centers, staffing is a tremendous issue. The shortage of 911 first responders is very much on the forefront of everyone's mind. And I love the fact that you laid out a pathway. I do have what may seem like a simple question, but maybe a little, I hope it's not patronizing in any way for us. What's the best medium? Is it letters? Is it videos? Is it, videos or letters from the community? Like, what is the most effective so we can concentrate our efforts that way?
If you send videos, I want to ask that you would also send them to my office, because then we can pitch it to your member of Congress or to the member of Congress that represents the area where you work. Videos are great, talking about your personal story. Talk about your job being 24/7, right? Shift work, and how incredible, that work is and the impact that it has on your personal, your family life, childcare issues you may be having as a result. All of the things that impact your work every single day, you should talk about that. But most importantly, talk about your service to your community. Letters are good because then you have, a paper trail. Emails are sometimes easier for our office. Sorry about that.
No, you're right. Emails are perfect. But I will say if you're getting an email from a telecommunicator and it's in all caps, we're not yelling. It just means we're at work. So it's
Yes,
totally,
that's right.
and I know you understand that, so it's totally okay.
Yes.
This has been really informative. And one last question, if you're okay with it,
Sure.
is as you know, in California, we're really active in our professional associations, whether that's Cal NINA, the version, the California chapter of NINA, or CPRA or NAPCO, which are the Northern and Southern California versions of APCO. Being in that space, how would we best position, or what is some advice you have for maybe those associations to be really, support your endeavors?
Yes, and those associations are very supportive of our efforts. As a matter of fact, they were here in April, walking the halls, talking to members of Congress, talking to U.S. senators. By the way, we've had, I believe, 25 organizations that are supporting our legislation.
Excellent.
So those organizations that you belong to are critically important because they also have a national footprint. So not only could they send in a letter of support from their organization, they should also be talking to their national organization. This is where we had a disconnect with, the fire departments that were in opposition of this legislation initially. Our local organizations were supportive because they understand your job. The national did not really connect and understand how primary PSAVs work versus secondary PSAVs. And that's, really important to understand that we are not challenging each other or competing with each other. They, both centers stand together and help each other as one. And this is why we need to ensure that you have the proper classification.
Excellent. I really appreciate it. That's a great summation. And for all my fire dispatchers out there, that
Yes.
emergency medical dispatch and protocol and all the lives that are saved every single day is just phenomenal work. So, Congressman, this really concludes, the interview. I know that you're really busy. And what timeline do we have to work with? It's May. So
I know.
do we have a timeline that we need to work with to get this done?
The sooner the better, only because, the clock is ticking. We have a November election, then we'll go into, this silly period of time. But, we're hoping to be able to get a hearing. And the more you talk about it and the more you request it, I think the more pressure we can add to the chairs of these committees to ensure that they allow for this legislation to, at the very least, have a public hearing to understand what you do.
Okay, wonderful. Well, you've given me my marching orders. So
Thank you.
we're going to get to work, and it's a grassroots, effort. And I really want to thank you personally because, you're here, you're in my area. So thank you very much for everything you do for us in 911, but also thank you for your service to this country. And I think congresspersons feel like 911 dispatchers, right?
Yeah.
Our work is often unthanked, unrecognized. We don't see the sacrifices. So thank you for everything you do for us as a whole and for us as Americans. So thank you.
Thank you, Kim, and thank you for giving us this space to be able to talk, to each other about the important issues. And, by the way, if you received a commendation recently about one of your calls, send that over also, because that's important for us to recognize you.
Excellent. Okay.
Thank you.
So when I flood your office, don't be upset.
No, we won't. We
All right.
want it. Thank you.
You're welcome anytime. Stay safe
All
and have
right.
a
Take
wonderful
care.
day. Okay,
Have a good
bye
day.
now. Our 911 agencies across the country are hiring and recruiting, and we love featuring agencies and having a conversation, and also inviting you to take a look at that agency if you're thinking about lateraling or if you are interested in this as a profession. Today, for our recruitment segment, I'm excited to have East Coast representation with Robert Verdone from Southeastern Massachusetts Regional 911 Center. It's exciting to have East Coast representation and have a conversation with Robert about why SMR is a great place to work. You know, I've last time, admittedly, that I was in, I think I shared this with you, was in Massachusetts, was probably almost 30 years, no, maybe like 25 years ago. So here's the question I have for you. Is there still a neighborhood bar in all the neighborhoods?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the best part, man, about Mass. And then, completely unrelated, the first time in my life I ever drank Anchor Steam beer was in Boston.
That I've never had.
Well, you didn't miss anything. So I'm sorry for all the Boston people, but I'm not a big Anchor Steam fan, and I don't even know if they still make it. I think Sam Adams kind of took over that space in the beer market. Are you a beer drinker, Rob?
Not really. I've never heard of that, but Sam Adams is definitely pretty popular around here. But
Yeah.
a lot of small breweries now, which is pretty cool to see.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, it's kind of like California too. Mike, how long have you been in 911?
This is probably my 15th or 16th year now.
What's the best part of it for you?
So this particular role was really, really cool because we got to take a couple 911 centers that weren't doing so great and combine them and really provide a really beautiful facility here and all the tools necessary to do the job really well and just have a really great staff here. So I think the most fulfilling thing as of late was building this organization and building the team we have, or at least assisting in building the team we have, just to kind of be the next generation of 911.
You know, that's our tagline. So, I love that.
Is it really?
Our company motto, it's Kim Turner LLC, the next generation of 911.
There you go. That lines up.
That is
really well.
badass. Yeah, that is so cool. How many agencies are in your center, your ECC?
So we have 8 primary right now. So 4 police, 4 fire. We take 911 wireless, everything for them, and we handle everything from the initial 911 call to the trucks backing into the station and units going back in service. We also handle the mutual aid coordination for a county and different cool things like the Marine Task Force for Buzzards Bay, which handles a huge swath of water in Massachusetts and all the search and rescue and maritime incidents that could happen there. So we have a pretty unique jurisdiction. Obviously, Gillette Stadium is right down the road from us, and we handle all the public safety operations for that. We have another large venue at Xfinity Center, a couple colleges, a bunch of highway, rail, airports, you name it, we have it. So it's a really cool jurisdiction, unique from anything else I've worked with.
So you consolidated 4 agencies or 8 agencies? It's really
so it's four PSAPs, each having police and fire, as well as the county control point, and some of this other stuff is new, like the Marine, the task force control point was always something that was supposed to happen that just none of the PSAPs that were responsible for it had the capacity for it. So we're able to kind of breathe new life into that and provide the level of service that's needed to support those marine operations safely.
When I hear you say that, is it a shipping port or is it more like a harbor for recreation?
So it's big. It's Buzzards Bay, so it's just north of Martha's Vineyard, the Elizabeth Islands, the port of New Bedford, a couple other ports, but New Bedford itself is the largest fishing port in America. There's a bunch of recreational boats, bunch of pleasure crafts. There's a huge shipping channel through Cape Cod Canal up to Boston from everywhere else. So quite a bit of traffic through that area, and the task force does a considerable amount of work.
Do you guys do special training for like water rescue for your dispatchers?
We do as part of our normal training. The task force operations is a little different because we don't necessarily take those initial calls. We get the request from either the Coast Guard calls us and says, hey, we need a local response, so the local response calls us and says we need additional resources, and the Coast Guard. So we're kind of just that interface between the federal response and the local and state response.
That is awesome. So if I'm interested in becoming a 911 professional, how would I even start that process with your agency to apply?
Sure. So our website has a jobs link, so semrec.gov. There's a jobs tab on the top. We do consider the most experienced and somebody off the street that's just trying to have a pivot or a change in their career. We provide all the training, we provide all the onboarding and everything. So someone can come fresh to the career and come with a fresh perspective, fresh set of skills, and we can transform you into a 911 professional.
Do you start as a call taker and then move to radio, or do you do everything? Or
so right now, all of our staff members are cross-trained on everything, and they're expected to be proficient in everything. So they rotate on their tour. They rotate between call taking and fire operations and police operations. The only folks that don't rotate per se is the supervisors. That's their rank, so they have to be proficient and assigned to everything at the same time. But no, before you're kicked out on your own, you're never on your own. We have a staff of 7 or 8 on duty, but before you're kicked out and staffing a position on your own, you have to be proficient on everything.
So you hit on something else too that I think is pretty. There's upward mobility, so there's promotability, right? So if once I'm on my own and I've done my probationary time and I have some time under my belt, if I wanted to train, I could become a CTO. That's an option, right?
Yep.
What other things do you have? Do you have tactical dispatch or?
Limited amount of tactical dispatch. Some of our team members deploy with the SWAT team and some other stuff. But just kind of a part of the core team is CTO is definitely one of the first steps into leadership. It gives it's additional training, it's additional certification, a little bit extra pay when you're training, but it gives the CTOs the ability to train and mold the next generation of our staff and kind of have that first step into being responsible for someone else's actions and being responsible for someone else's mobility and proficiency into what will be a life-saving position. So that's their first glance at a promotion. They can become an acting supervisor. So in case one of the supervisors' shift isn't filled, there's certain people that are certified to fill those positions. Supervisor is obviously the next step. So a supervisor is responsible for their shift. They have a team of people assigned to them as their first administrative and HR point of contact. Mm-hmm. And that's probably one of the most challenging jobs in this place is being a floor supervisor. It's certainly admirable work they do. And beyond that, there's executive level positions. So the section chiefs we have here is the deputy director and myself. So there's a section chief in charge of training, one in charge of special projects, and one in charge of operations. So,
nice.
Yeah, as those positions open up, we've always to date promoted from within. So the section chiefs all came from dispatcher to supervisor to their position today. And we don't even call our dispatchers, they're communications officers, just to kind of reinforce the level of responsibility they have.
That is awesome. I love that. I actually can't wait to come back. So I really would love to visit. Yeah. And check it out because it sounds like you're running just an amazing operation and it shouldn't be lost. The promotability, the variety of assignments and the training that comes with each level. I think that's exciting. Like it's exciting for me in this world to see a 911 center doing so well, an ECC doing so well. Rob, I ask everybody this. I'm going to ask you. Okay. It's a weird question, so get ready for it. If someone was to describe you as a call type or a type code, right? What would it be?
It's an interesting question. I might be the fire alarm that turns into a walking fire.
I love it. No one said that. That's awesome, dude. I love that.
I come off as a nuisance, and then all of a sudden we're just moving and grooving. So
I love it. Thank you so much, Rob. I really appreciate it.
Do you want to see our floor? I can.
Yeah.
So just give me 1 second. I might turn off my camera for the so there's no action shots here, but give me 1 second. So this is our kitchen. So our nice break
Okay.
room.
It's clean.
So this is a brand new facility. We just moved in here in 2020.
No,
This
wait.
is our-
I need you to turn back around, Rob. Turn back around. Go back in the kitchen for me.
Sure.
Because we got to pass a dispatch test, bro.
This is
Open up
MTV.
open up that refrigerator for me. Let me see
gross.
what you see. Exactly. It's a true 911 center.
Actually,
Woo!
it's not too bad. It's only
So this is where I get to make fun of the person who puts the big cooler in the refrigerator. Why? It's a cooler.
yeah, right. There's probably about 10 gallons of mayonnaise in there. So it's dark like every other floor, but this is our
Yeah.
our
Oh, look at all
911
those
center.
windows, though. Are those TVs? Is that like
Those
a
are TVs, yeah. So we do have a skylight.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that's our
How many
911 center.
How many monitors per station? Do you have 8 or 6?
This is a typical station, so it is a two
Oh, nice,
pair of
nice
widescreens,
widescreen, double stacked.
and
That's
then
nice.
2 additional monitors on the side, and then our 911 system here,
Got
and then
it.
a
Great.
radio console.
You guys run Motorola, Elite,
It's,
or
Avtech.
okay? What's your CAD?
Right now we're deploying Hexagon On Call. We use
Okay. Oh,
older
so
generation.
you're using that. So you're using the Hexagon Cloud solution.
yeah, so we're deploying that
You
now. We
like
should
it?
be going live in a couple months. It's been great so far.